Okay, so I wanted to go through a couple of questions that are there on worksheet 1 just so you can see how it would be done. So we'll start with question 1C, which has got 4 cubed times 4 to the minus 3 all over 4 to the minus 1. Now, we could just go through straight through our standard way of doing this, and we can say, because we're multiplying powers, we can add them, and then when we divide by powers, we subtract them. So that would be, if we just look at the powers, that would be 3 plus minus 3 minus minus 1. So 3 plus minus 3 is the same as 3 minus 3, and minus minus 1 is the same as plus 1. So 3 minus 3 is 0, plus 1 is 1. So our answer here is going to be 4 to the power 1, which is the same as 4. Now we could look at this a different way and say, look at our to the power of minus 3. So I think some people are confused with this. If I write 4 to the power of minus 3, that's the same as writing 1 over 4 cubed. Okay, and similarly, 1 over 4 to the minus 1 is the same as 4 to the power 1 over 1, which is the same as 4. Okay, so now if we come over here, we can write this slightly differently. We can write this as 4 cubed times 4 to the power 1, because we've moved this 4 up to the top, all divided by 4 cubed, because 4 to the minus 3 is the same as 1 over 4 cubed. So so we're left with this, and then we can see that the cubes cancel out, and we're just left with 4 to the power minus 1. Okay, that's question 1C. Maybe there might be some questions to do with that one. Let's have a look at question 1D. This one is just a bit of bod math. So 10 cubed divided by 10 to the power 4 times 10. So another way of writing that, and I think a better way of writing that, would be 10 cubed over 10 to the power 4 times 10. Now again, I think that some people aren't fully aware of this, that this is exactly the same as writing 10 cubed times 10 over 10 to the power 4. Okay, so if we just got multiplying, we haven't got any addition or subtraction, we can just extend that divide line going all the way across. Okay, so now we can do things with our powers as normal. So 10 cubed, remember that's 10 to the 1, 10 cubed times 10 to the 1 is the same as 10 to the 4, and then we're dividing that by 10 to the 4. 10 to the 4 by 10 to, divided by 10 to the 4, these two cancel out. Now remember, they cancel out, it doesn't mean they go to 0, it means that they just become 1. So 10 to the power 4 divided by 10 to the power 4 is 1. Or we could look at this in our powers way, that would be 4 minus 4, which is 10 to the power 0, and anything to the power 0 is 1. Okay, now finally I want to have a look at question 4, which was a little bit complicated. 3 squared times 2 to the minus 5 divided by 15 to the minus 1, and that's all divided by 3 squared over 2 to the power 5. Now when we're dividing by a fraction, the easiest thing to do is to replace that divide sign by a multiply sign, turning this upside down. So just a quick aside, if I was to say 1 divided by a half, 1 divided by a half is 2. I think you know that. But we can write this another way, saying 1 times 2 over 1. We've just flipped it over. 2 over 1 is the same as 2. Okay, so these two are equivalent ways of writing the same thing. Okay, so we can come back to here. We can say this is now 3 squared times 2 to the power minus 5 over 15 to the power minus 1 multiplied by 2 to the 5th over 3 squared. Okay, so now we could write this another way. Why don't I just do that? So 3 squared times 2 to the minus 5 times 2 to the power 5, all divided by 15 to the minus 1 times 3 squared. Because we're just multiplying, we can just extend this divide line straight across. Okay, now we can just apply our powers rules as before, but we can also see things that would cancel out. So 3 squared divided by 3 squared is just going to be 1, so those two cancel out. and 2 to the power minus 5, we could write that as 2 to the 5 down here, or we can just know that this we apply our rules again, so minus 5 plus 5 is 0, so 2 to the power 0, which is 1. So basically these 2 to the 5ths cancel out as well. So we're now left with 1 over 15 to the power minus 1, which is the same as 15.